Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Stout Out Loud's live Untappd ratings. Today's brew, right here, is called Cocobänger Barrel Aged, and it's by the Estonian brewery Põhjala. I've reviewed one of their beers before, the Tallinn, and in that review, I've told you that this is one of my favorite breweries. They make some really good stouts. But I do have to say they failed to surprise me to really blow my mind for a while. This one is relatively new on the market, and it's a potential triple threat, and I'll tell you why. It's a variation on the Banger, and the Banger was probably my first great love as far as stouts go. That was a really fantastic beer with some chili in it, spicy, thick, roasted stout. Unfortunately, they seem to have discontinued it, and since then they've only made like variations on them. So you have the Italo Banger, you have the Szechuan Banger, you have the Forest Banger, the Winter Banger. None of which were as good as the original. But then there was the Cocobänger. And I've reached into my Untappd history, and I saw that I checked that one in twice. The second time I felt that I had to, because I did not do it justice the first time. I give it 4 stars first time, 4.5 stars the second time, because apparently it was considerably better than I remembered or that I experienced the first time. So the second reason why it's a potential triple threat is that it's a Cocobänger, meaning there's coconut in there, and coconut and stouts just go very well together if it's executed correctly. Apart from that, there's also like coffee in there, so that should be should prove to be something interesting. Although I've already had the regular Cocobänger and had that too. With this has the additional value, and that's the third reason why it's a triple threat, of being a barrel-aged version of that Cocobänger. As I read here, it was barrel-aged on freshly emptied American rye whiskey barrels. So that's perhaps a bit of a diversion from the by now rather standard bourbon barrel-aged beers. So I say let's give it a go. Now, what Põhjala does with the Barrel Aged series, the Cellar series, is put some wax on top of it. More breweries are starting to do that. And usually I pick the bottle that has the least wax on it, because it's not all the same for every bottle, because it's just so very difficult to open. What works best if you hold it under a hot tap water, and then it melts a bit. I'm not going to do that, this is going to warm up my beer, but this may take me a while to open, so bear with me. The wax is coming off, the cap is not. Come on. Well, no release sound, but I have gotten it off without spinning. So let's go. Let's give it a smell. Oh, that's beautiful. It has a very rich smell. I can't really. There's definitely a hint of coconut in there, yeah. You can smell the barrel. You can smell it's going to be a bit boozy, but in a rather beautiful way, probably. It's promising. Let's have a sip. Booziness is the first thing that I get off this. The rest is rather subtle. It's sweet-ish. I've had stouts that are far sweeter than this one. Like Põhjala's own Pime, for example, which is a very thick, sweet, and quite wonderful stout. That coconut is a little far away. It's in there, but it's far in the background. Coffee seems to be slightly more present, but the barrel is probably the biggest part of the flavor. Which is not to say that's bad, because it's quite lovely. It's just I have had more pleasing coconut stouts than this one. This one doesn't seem to be all in. Doesn't mean it doesn't have its own merits, of course. If I have to rate it, I have to be honest and say I can't really remember my experience of the original Cocobänger. I know I've checked it in twice, so I must have had it at least twice. So I cannot say if it's better than that one. What I can do is judge according to my expectations. And if I do that, I'm just ever the slightest bit disappointed. It's still a wonderful beer. I'll gladly drink it anytime, and if you want to give it to me as a present, please do. Would I buy it again? Depends on the costs. I don't think it's definitely not the most expensive stout that you can get. So in that sense, yeah, I probably would have it again. Depends on what the choice is available. I'm definitely not going to rate it higher than the original Cocobänger, because I give that one 4.50, 4.5 stars. This one doesn't deserve to be more than that, definitely. I'm going to say 4.25, yeah. Just to be honest, I think is what I would call it. Because honestly, I've had better stouts than this one. I've had far worse stouts than this one. So this one fits in like definitely above average, but not one of my top 10 favorites. So there you go. You want to keep me slightly intoxicated and at the same time find out if any of these beers I try for you and review are any good. Please subscribe and follow us, support us. Subscribe to our channel Stout Out Loud so we can continue doing this and letting you know if the beers we're trying are worth buying. Thank you.